I'm going to show you how to create an easy special effects makeup cut, and we're going to use some of these products. So the first product you're going to need is some Vaseline, any brand will do, some special effects scar wax. I have linked a DIY video of scar wax if you want to have a look at that. Some powder, any type of powder will do, baby powder, flour, any type of powder. A bruise wheel, but you can use some lipsticks, you can use some eyeshadows, so anything will do for bruising. And then some blood, any type of brand. So I'm first going to use some Vaseline. You just need a little bit. You're going to rub this onto your hand. And this is a barrier, and it stops the wax from sticking to your hand. Then we're going to take out some scar wax, and we're going to roll it into a ball. It's into a ball, and then into a snake. When you're placing the scar wax down, try not to put it in an area where it bends because it will fall off. So I'm going to put it up here. Then you go and get some more Vaseline, just a really, really small bit, and you start to blend the edges out. As you can see, I'm blending it right into the skin, and you can see it becomes seamless. You continue this all the time, adding little bits of Vaseline so it doesn't stick to your finger. If you find the wax starts to pull, it means you just need a little bit more Vaseline to blend it out. Just be patient and take your time. Try not to put pressure in the centre of the wax. The wax is brilliant because you can create so many different types of special effects, cuts and scars. So that's pretty much blended. It is easier if you start off with a smaller bit of wax. So the next thing I'm going to do is take a tool. This can be a brush, it can be the end of a spoon, it can be a spatula. So I'm going to get some Vaseline and rub it on the end so the wax doesn't stick. Next, we're going to cut the wax. So imagine if you had a finger, don't go right from the edge, a finger in, and you bring the scar down. Again, you stop with a finger in. It doesn't have to be perfect. If you cut yourself open, it's just going to look like this. It's not going to be perfect. The next thing we're going to use is this sponge. It's a pore sponge. You don't really need to. This won't make a huge difference. You can skip this part if you want to. So I'm just going to basically tap over the wax to give little pore looks to kind of make it more real. So the next thing we're going to use some powder. This is going to set it. It can be any type of powder. It can be flour. It can be baby powder. Then have a sponge, any sponge will do. I'm going to rip it in half. I'm just going to press it gently all over the scar. And what this does, it's not for colour, it's just to take the shine off it, because their skin is not naturally shiny. So the next we're going to do is I'm going to take the bruise wheel. I'm going to do some bruising. Now you don't have to use this bruise wheel, you can use any cream paints, any water paints, lipsticks, eyeshadows, whatever you have at home. Don't be going out and buying stuff. I'm going to take this sponge and take all the edges off. This dark purpley colour here, brown, I'm going to take this and dab it into the sponge. So I'm going to gently touch, just create irritation and bruising around the scar. You can use different types of colours. It can be reds, it can be browns, it can be purples. It's really what you want to do. You just don't want to colour the whole lot in. You want to see some natural kind of skin colour through it. So when you have the bruising done, the next part we're going to do is go back into the wheel, and this time we're going to use a navy colour. Or if you have black, that's better again. Any cuts that are deep, they'll always be darker. And the deeper they are, the darker they'll be. So now you're going to just paint on the skin, try avoid the wax, and that's going to be the cut there. So the fun part's the blood. There's all different types of blood, but I wouldn't be too fussy. Just using a really small part, And I've actually put it over the powder because I want some of it to be kind of lumpy. I'm using the same brush with the same colour, just mixing it up. And then you want to start filling the blood inside the scar. If you wanted to kind of add like guts and things like that effect, you can break up a cornflake into your blood and it's really, really effective. So the last and final part, you pick up a stippling sponge into the blood, give it a little squeeze, and then what we're going to do is add some blood as splashes. And that's really, really easy. It takes a couple of minutes to do. I'm now going to show you how to create a bullet hole using all the same materials, but adding in some cornflakes. So again, you start with the Vaseline. Again, just a small little bit on your hand so the wax doesn't stick. Then we're going to move on to the wax, a smaller piece, and we're going to roll it. I'm going to break a piece off, and I'm going to join it into like a donut or a Cheerio. This looks really well on the forehead, between the eyes, but I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm just going to do it on my arm. Small little bit of Vaseline, and start to blend out the edges. Just continue to blend it out. You can't see any edges now. This is not necessary, but you can do it. Just to create pores. Next part, we're going to add some powder and place it all over the wax. Then we're going to do some bruising or irritation. It's this colour here. If you had some red, it'd probably work really well here, just for irritation. So next time we're going to use some dark colour. We're going to paint the inside of the wound. Then I'm going to get some blood. And these little cornflakes. I'm going to break them up and mix them. You're going to fill it inside a hole. The next part, I'm going to use a stipple sponge again. Squeeze the blood. And then that. And the last thing I always like to do, get a bit of runny blood. Dip it in, and as it's on the forehead, that will naturally roll down, and that's your bullet hole.